You've just opened the soup can. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the many flavors we offer as we ask Soup No O. Hello and welcome to the Soup Can, where we ask Soup No O. Today, doing something a little different. This is the first time I've had a live guest in studio. And today we're going to be asking Soup No O with my dad, Joseph Ripari Sr.
That's me.
Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Billy's dad. My name's Joe Ripari, and I'm a retired person, so I don't have to work anymore. And,
Must be nice.
I have
about 20 more years of that.
Yep. I can do whatever I want, and I have money come to my account every month, and I make a pretty decent living being retired, so I can pretty much do whatever I want whenever I want.
And you're retired from what profession?
And I was a certified manufacturing engineering specialist, and most of my career was spent at Chrysler, and where I worked on pretty much all the Chrysler vehicles as far as rear end and axles and that type of thing.
So you worked mostly on the rear axle? Or was it all the axles?
Yeah, all the front and all the rear, and all the big sellers, all the Dodge Rams, Jeep Cherokees.
See, that's something I didn't even know. I just knew you were an engineer and worked for Chrysler. After Chrysler, where did you transition to? I know you had, being my dad, I know you had a slew of jobs afterwards.
Let's go back at Chrysler. They used to call me the now I'm forgetting what the name. They used to call me the They used to call me the high-priced engineer. And they didn't call me that because how much money I made, although I made very, very, very good money. They called me that is because I saved them millions of dollars whenever they'd had a big problem to solve and things weren't going right. They'd call me.
Okay.
So I got the nickname of the high-priced engineer, which was cool because a lot of times problems were kind of like really hard, but we kind of worked through them and figured it all out, and so I kind of got that nickname. And then after that, I did retire from Chrysler early because I wanted to write a book, which I did, Stormganger.
Yeah.
And it's not available on Amazon anymore because my contract was up with them, so it's just available.
Okay.
It's called Stormganger, and you can maybe put a link or something or whatever you want to do with that, but that's my book.
Yeah, if you allow me, I'll plug your book. I'll put the link on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I had forgotten all about that we could plug the book or whatever, but whatever, it's there. And so I wrote the book, and then I went back to work for a few years, and then I officially retired, and I did the same thing. I was an engineer, but I went back to work after I wrote the book for a few years, and then that was it, and I'm done. And now I've been retired for 4 years now or so, or whatever it is, and that's where I'm at now. And,
do you ever miss the hustle and bustle, as it were, of the work life? I know you work.
I'm not one of those guys, man. I had my retirement all planned out.
Okay.
Yeah, they say, oh, you won't know what you're gonna do. You'll be bored. No, I'm not bored at all. I kind of miss the I don't miss the work so much as I miss being around the people and all the people that I got to know, and because when you work at a huge facility, you get to know a lot of people and stuff.
Yeah, and I have some experience working up at the Chrysler Tech Center where you worked for a short amount of time, and I stay in contact with some of the people that I worked with. I was nowhere near the capacity you were, as I was just in finished vehicles and we just shipped the vehicles. But yeah, keeping in touch with the people that you make and those lasting relationships.
Yeah, that's what I kind of miss. And I still keep in touch with quite a few guys. We email each other and text.
Okay.
And I did transfer to the tech center up there in Auburn Hills. I transferred up there. I was there for a year and a half, I think. And then I found that working out of corporate was a little bit too slow for me. I mean, it was, they'd give me things to do and I'd get it done really fast and then I'd have nothing to do. So I used to walk around the huge complex all day long.
Hey, you never get bored walking
around. I transferred back to where I started.
And that was Detroit Axle, right?
Yeah, that was the axle plant in Detroit. And yeah, that's where I went back there. And
okay, so let's go back to retirement life. You've been retired for about 4 years. You
Yeah,
said.
going on 5 years, I think now.
So
yeah.
what?
So
Sorry to interrupt. What keeps you busy now that you're retired? I know you're a very active individual, but you did touch on that you wrote a book. Is writing something you want to get back into?
Yeah, I have a sequel to the book, but it's hard to get if you're not well known or you're not a public figure, you're not a celebrity or an athlete, you can't get a book published nowadays. You gotta have money to do it yourself because they're not going to publish it. And if you publish it yourself and you get a lot of readership, then a publisher might look at you. But if you don't get a lot of readers to read your book, no one will publish you. Publishing is going pretty much the way of everything else that's in hard copy.
Is it something you'd consider to do just as a hobby? Like,
Yeah, I do. I like I said, I got a sequel to the first book. I I just I write on it a little bit each time, but I can't really because I know it's not going to go anywhere. But it is. I do like writing; keeps my mind sharp,
no,
and whatever. It's kind of a good. It's kind of a. There's a lot of good characters in the book, and I'd like to keep talking about them. Writing it down, writing my thoughts down, and things like that. But yeah, that's only like one of the things I do, and I kind of like to. I dabble at writing a little bit, but I mostly like to relax.
Now, as part of your relaxing, one of the main reasons I asked you to come on the show is part of your relaxing, staying in shape and being active in that sense, because I know physical activity can keep your mind sharp as well as the body sharp too.
Yeah, and that's what pretty much all I do. When I'm training for the Senior Olympics, that's pretty much all I do. I train 3-4 hours a day, and then I eat, and then I sleep. But when I'm like right now is kind of the off season for track and field. I guess maybe we'll get into what I run and what I do and everything. But for right now, it's kind of the off season. This has been a kind of a weird year because of COVID, because of the Rona. Right. Now, and so a lot of the meets were canceled. I trained really hard for this year, and I was in really good shape, but they canceled. Basically, all the meets I was going to run in got canceled. I had some national meets I was going to run in, but they got canceled. I was going to go to Wisconsin, that got canceled. I was going to run. There was a couple meets here in Michigan I was going to run in, Boston. They all got canceled. The only place that I think is going to have a meet is Florida, and that's going to be sometime in November, I think. But I think I'm gonna hold off. I'm not gonna go. So I'm kind of in a lull right now. Just taking a few weeks off. Not off, but I'm not training. I'm just working out.
Now, with these meets that you were mentally prepared for, and ready to compete in, what does that do to you mentally? Does that deter you from continuing on, or does that make you want to push harder for the next one that you're gonna go?
No, it's just kind of. It's kind of what's frustrating, because you train at that level. I don't want to kind of talk about myself like that, but when you're training at that level, that top level like that, which you're in the top half a percentile of people that can even do that kind of stuff.
Right.
So when you're training at such a high level, to compete at such a high level, because I gotta say, if you don't train hard and you don't train at that level, if you compete, you're gonna look like a fool. So you have to train hard. So when you train hard, you want to compete hard, and when you can't compete, it's kind of frustrating. Hasn't deterred me at all. It's just I'm taking a little more time with some easy training now than I normally would. So that's about the only thing. The big national meet next year so far it's on. They haven't canceled that one. So that's going to be in the late summer of next year. Hopefully there'll be 3 or 4 meets before that I can compete in that don't get canceled. So we'll see. But again, I'm going to start my training again probably, I don't know, in another couple weeks I'll start training again. But I won't. It's like a process.
Right.
You start out a little bit slow, then you start out a little bit more heavy, and then you kind of try to transition into when you start competing so that you're at your peak when you compete. But from now until I get to my peak, that's a long road. So right now I'm just gonna take a deep breath and relax, and hopefully next year will be better, and we'll be better as far as all the meets go. I was really anxious to compete this year because I was running some pretty good times in practice, and but anyway, yeah, that's all water under the bridge, and so when I'm not training, which is like kind of like sort of like this kind of time of year, I just work out. I just kind of exercise, work out. I stay in shape. I watch what I eat. When I'm training, I have a training diet that I'm on and things like that. But right now, it's kind of like I eat anything I want, really. It's just kind of put on a few pounds, but that's okay.
Hey, you're prepping for the winter weight.
Yeah, I'm prepping for the winter weight.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick and throw this out there now to tell the people what you're training for, what you do. He's a runner. He's a sprinter. But growing up, I knew him as a distance runner because he wasn't eligible for the Senior Olympics, and we'll touch base on that in a few minutes. I remember going when I started junior high, and I was eligible to run for track in junior high or middle school or whatever. Going on my first run with my dad, we ran. It just I could only make it like a half mile, not even a mile. And I told him I got to turn back. I'm tired, so I walked back, and you kept going. We would go watch him in a run that he got me and my younger brother running the Roseville Big Bird run. We would go watch him and cheer him on at the finish line, and now it's the reverse. He comes and cheers me on as it's a run that I've been running, which I'm hoping they still do this year to keep my streak alive. This would be my 23rd year.
Yeah, that would be good. Row. I don't know. I don't see why they wouldn't have it. I mean, it's outside, and
when did you decide to switch from distance to sprinting, or have you always been a sprinter and just didn't have anything to do?
Yeah,
I just kept running distance.
Sprinting's always been my passion, and I've always sprinted. I've always been fast. And even when I did the distance, I never really ran really long distances. 10K was as far as I would. That's the longest I would go. And I had some pretty good times in the 10K.
Yeah, and that was I haven't ran his fastest time, and I've been running for God knows how long.
And that's because of because of all the speed work that I do and everything. So.
And I try to incorporate some of that into my training.
So the reason I don't run the distance anymore is because running distance is counterproductive to sprinting. You're using totally different muscles. You don't use any fast twitch muscles when you're running distance. And if you run too much distance while you're training for sprinting, your fast twitch muscles I call it like they get confused. So your fast twitch muscles aren't at their top performance or at their peak. So you still need a good aerobic base, but you try to stay away from any kind of long distance for a long time. So you're just doing speed work, basically. You're doing sprint drills, speed work, and things like that. But I used to love running those races, and because I could always, at the end, I would always sprint, like the last 200 meters, I would sprint as fast as I could, and I would always pass 20, 30, 40 people at the end because I would just be sprinting right by them at the end.
It was always fun watching you finish at the Big Bird run because we were kids when you were running that. And the other ones I've seen pictures obviously and heard the stories of you running the different races. You go to Chicago, run some 10Ks and Jingle Bell runs and stuff like that. But we couldn't travel with you to cheer you on. So it was kind of cool in November every year going to see go Dad go. As he's coming down that final stretch.
Yeah, and then the reason, back in the day when I was running distance, I couldn't really train for sprinting as much as I am now because you guys were all growing up and I was working a lot, and I was raising a family, and so I really didn't have the time or the facilities to train for the sprinting back then. So the distance was easier to train for because you could just go out and just run.
Yeah.
But when you're training for the sprints, that's not what you do. Your training is very specific, very regimented, very drill specific, very kind of like very what's the word? The type of runs you do are very specific. You're not doing, and like I said, you're not doing any distance or anything like that. Shit, the longest you might run is a mile. I mean, that's just because, like maybe one day you want to take a day off from sprinting, so you run, you go out and you run an easy, 15 minutes or whatever. You might run, I don't know, you might run 3 miles or 2 miles in 15 minutes. I don't know.
Hell, I do that now.
Yeah, that's just
nice slow runs, man. There's
yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
and there's just but you're only doing that intermittently, so yeah. So that's probably the main reason I didn't sprint back then.
Blame the kids.
Yeah, blame the kids.
Blame the kids.
Great. And and then I was trying to better my times in the middle distance, which I was, I used to run pretty decent times, and my goal was always to beat the first female, to beat the first female runner, because you never knew who that was going to be. It could have been some college girl that was really good. So my goal was always to try to beat the first woman, and I usually did always beat the first woman. So I was running decent times, but whatever. So yeah, that's why I don't. That's why I didn't run sprints back then too much, and that's why I kind of more concentrated on running in the road races and stuff back then. I don't know how many I ran, and I ran in thousand of them. I think used to run in 3, 4, 5 a year, whatever, for I don't know how many years.
Before they gave away medals, you can see all the participation medals I have hanging there. But,
yeah, they never. Yeah, I don't know. I just ran it because it was fun.
But before we move on and get to something more fun, which is the Senior Olympics, I have some bills to pay for all these fancy facilities here.
Cool.
This episode is actually being brought to us by Sprinkled Confections. If you have a wedding, a birthday, a retirement party coming up, or you're just looking for a delicious, sweet treat, well, look no further than Sprinkled Confections to handle all your cake and cupcake needs. Contact Catherine Williams. You can contact her at Facebook at cats.sprinkle.confections or on the Instagram at sprinkled.confections. Sprinkled Confections, delivering delicious sweet treats for all your party needs or for your sweet tooth. Now that we paid the bills, let's talk about your Senior Olympics and when you first started that and started competing. But can you explain to everybody what you need to, or how old you need to be eligible to compete, and what the Senior Olympics, what those events have, and then we'll talk about what you compete in and how you train for those.
Okay, we'll start from the very, very beginning. When I was working at Chrysler, we used to compete in the Chrysler Olympics, or they'd call it the
Corporate Olympics.
The Corporate Olympics, yeah, and we used to run against Ford and GM and some of the other big companies that weren't automotive companies, but were automotive suppliers and stuff. And so that's what got me back into sprinting was the Corporate Olympics. And so we used to win the relay all the time against Ford and GM and those guys. We used to always win the 4x100 relay, so that was fun. And there was mixed teams. We had girls on there too, so that was cool. And so that's what got me back into sprinting. And then going from there, you can't compete in the Senior Olympics till you're 50. So.
And according to my notes,
2005.
You first competed in 2005?
Yeah, 2005 was when I turned 50. So 2005. Yeah, I'm old, so
let me
that's
get
just
the
how it
abacus
goes.
out there. My computer calculator to do math.
Get the quantum computer out to do the math. Yeah, so I started in 2005. And
now, you're not competing against like 60, 70-year-olds. They break it down by age group just like they do with a lot of the races that I would
we'll get into it. So 2005 was my first year. And I competed in the 50 to 54-year-old age group, and that's usually where that age group there is usually where all the really, really, really good guys compete. You got ex-Olympians and ex-NFL players.
No kidding.
Yeah. And, so that's what happens. And so 2005 was my first year. Um, I was ready to compete in those Olympics. I had trained for quite a while, running in the corporate Olympics and training, and up to the Olympics that were going. They were going to be held in Pittsburgh that year, and so probably 3 weeks before I was getting ready to fly to Pittsburgh, you know what happened then?
It was your hamstrings, wasn't it?
Think. Your uncle died.
Oh yeah.
My brother passed away.
Oh, that's right.
Unexpectedly.
Wow, that long ago already?
Yeah, and so it was either, go to the funeral or go run, and
obviously
so I went. Obviously, for personal reasons, I bowed out. But there was right. But there was another meet in Boston later that year that I ran in, and I didn't make the finals. I didn't make the finals of the 60-meter dash, and I finished ninth. And
but that's on the national stage though, right? The one
in
Boston?
That's national. It was the National Indoor Championships in Boston.
So you had beaten out everybody in Michigan and not the surrounding states, but everybody in Michigan, and then you went on to nationals.
And Pittsburgh. You have to qualify for the nationals. So in 2004, I qualified for Pittsburgh. I was number one in Michigan in my age group, so I qualified. I guess we'll start from the beginning. So it's broken down into age groups: 50 to 54, 55 to 59, 60 to 64, so on, so on, so on. And if you finish in the top three, you make the finals. If you run a minimum time, you make the finals. So my goal was always to run the minimum time to make the finals. The Olympics are held every 2 years on the odd number of years. So they're held every 2 years: 2005, 2007, 2009, 2011, 2013, 15, 17, 19 was last year. Mm-hmm. I made the finals for last year. To compete in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This year I've already qualified for next year because of Rona. If you qualified in 2019, you automatically qualify for 2021 next year in Fort Lauderdale. So I've already qualified for that. So I'll be running. That's the big major one next year. So I'm ready for that. So that's what I'm going to be training for next year in Fort Lauderdale. That's basically the Senior Olympics. That's how I got into it, and then I've been competing I tried to compete every year, that they had them. There were a few years there where I missed a few years, or a couple times I missed because I wasn't feeling well. Mm-hmm. I got into some personal things with depression and anxiety over my brother dying and over your uncle dying, and that took a big toll on me. So, I had it was a long recovery from that and the problems that it caused. That in connection with working too hard.
Because I know when you were doing all that traveling for your one job you had. That was one of the years. That was 13. When was that? I don't have that written down, but I know you were doing all kinds of traveling back and forth from Georgia, and your anxiety was through the roof, stress level for work. And you finally stepped back, found a better job that was a little bit closer to home, and that's when you started kicking more ass and
that's when I got back into it. I missed it would have been 2000. I competed in 2011 because that's when I was working at Grinders Clearinghouse.
Oh, okay.
And then so I competed in 2011. That was in San Francisco.
Came back from San Francisco with the second place medal?
Our relay team finished fourth nationally.
I have a puzzled look on my face because I was unable to attend, so.
Yeah. Our 4x100 relay team finished fourth in the nation.
Okay.
And those relay teams are open. They're not age grouped. They're open. So you could have 4 guys that are 50 against, 4 guys that are 60.
Wow.
So we had it spread out where Bruce was the oldest guy, then I was the second oldest, then we had We had Bill and I think Ken, and they were 50 at that time, and I think Bruce was 59ish, and I was kind of in my mid 50s or something. And we ran a really good time. I ran my best 100-meter time ever running in that relay, so we did good.
Now, have you consistently competed in the same events,
Yeah.
or have you lightened your load as you've gotten older?
Yeah, as I've gotten a little bit older, I don't run the 200 meters anymore. So I've replaced that with the 60 meters and the 50 meters and then the 100 meters. And then if we can get the relay team together, I'll run the relay. But
In 4x1?
4x1, yeah. I can't run the 200 anymore. I'm just not. I'm going to give it a shot in some workouts and see if I can still do it. But that takes a lot out of you when you get older. And I think the 100 meters is about as far as I want to go these days because that's just the right distance for going all out and then not blowing up your whole body. At least for me, anyway. Because sprinting is a whole different ball game. It's basically think of it as your car. You just floor your car. It's like like the drag racing. You just floor it. You never know what's gonna go. You never know what's gonna pop, what's gonna blow up, You never know. And when sprinting, it's the same way, man. And even elite athletes, they get injured, they hurt themselves, but as you get older, it's a whole new ball game. You have to be very aware of everything because it's real easy to get injured when you're.
Especially with the quick start and everything, you pull muscle.
Yeah, because you're at such a aggressive level of intensity that when you get older, you got to be very careful. Well, even when you're younger, you got to be careful. So you got to train right and just do all the right things. So that's basically the Senior Olympics, and that's pretty much what I do. Run in the Senior Olympics and try to compete and do the best I can. And I train to be the best I can. And when I run, I do the best I can. And then if doing my best gets me anywhere, or I win a medal, or I place, or whatever I do, then so be it. That's what happens. If I don't, I know I've done my best, and that's all that counts.
And you've instilled that into me and Larry, my younger brother, as well. We go out, we do the best we can. Larry's a natural runner, much like you are. I have to work a little harder at it. But it's that mindset that you've put in us to just go out, do the best that you can, and even if it takes you 18 years to finally place in your age group in the run you've been doing for 23 years, you don't let that discourage you, and that's something that...
No, what keeps me going, though, really, is in Michigan, I am constant. I've never finished less than third in Michigan.
Wow.
And I'm usually number one in my age group. The last race I ran in, I finished second. But I wasn't totally at my best. I had just gotten over a bad hamstring pull. Remember that? You saw that. That was so I had just gotten over that, and I had just that was my first race back after tearing that thing, and so I wasn't at 100%. I was probably at probably 95%. I still finished second, so that was good. No biggie, and so. That's what keeps me going because I figure if I'm at 95% and I can finish second and beat everybody else, then I'm good. When I'm at 100%, there's nobody in Michigan that can beat me. Nationally, it's just, man, there's some really fast guys, man, in all the age groups. So my best nationally, I finished ninth again one year. I missed the finals by 0.2 of a second.
Oh, wow.
And that's been my best, so...
That doesn't sound like a lot, but that 0.2 in the sprint is...
Yeah, it's not a lot.
No.
In a sprint, though, it'll be enough to, someone else will beat you. But, yeah, as long as I can stay in the top 10 or top 15 in the nation, I'll keep competing. And as long as I can stay number 1 to 3 in Michigan, I'll keep competing. But so far, I've been in the top 10, top 15 in the whole country in my age group. So
I mean, if you're still able to compete at that high level, I mean, there's no sense. I mean, unless your body tells you otherwise, there's no sense.
And as you get older, yeah, your body does sometimes tell you, what the hell are you doing? And so that's why it's a whole process of you gotta eat right, you gotta get enough rest, you gotta train right, and you gotta put all that together, and you gotta try to peak at the right time. And when you get older, man, it's really like a puzzle where you have to put it all together and get it all going at the right time. And if you leave one little thing out, or you do one thing half-ass, or you don't do this, or you don't do that, something can give, and you're not gonna do
And that leads
exactly
into the next thing I was gonna ask. You said you've already qualified for 2021 because of the Rona.
Yeah, because of Rona.
Now, how far out will you start your race training?
Like I said, for what is this month here now? We got October, so we've got November, December, January, February. Yeah, so sometime around November ish, end of November ish,
Okay.
I'll start my indoor training at the gym, where I'll be lifting, like doing a lot of leg work for my legs as far as weights go. Doing a lot of plyometrics, jumping up, jumping down, skipping, hopping, doing all that
hopping, jumping, put things on, pick them down.
Yeah, picking things up, putting things down. Yeah, a lot more weight training than when I start my sprint drills and sprint workouts, which usually come sometime around April, because that's when the weather changes, and then it gets warm enough out where you can go outside and start doing your drills. So up until then, I'll be indoors. I'll be using the treadmill. As far as, I just crank them babies up as fast as they can go, and
show off.
When I want to sprint, I just crank them up as fast as they can go, and use that. The only thing I don't like about the treadmills is I can't get my stride length. To its maximum stride length when I'm on the treadmill. But that's what you have to sacrifice when you're in the cold weather states and you don't have a indoor track you can go to. But yeah, so to answer your question, sometime around November I'll start training again, but I won't be doing any. Well, I can't say I won't be doing any speed work, because I'll be using the treadmills.
You come run with me outside in the wintertime. Get you some winter gear. Come run some 5Ks with me.
No, that's not gonna do it. Those days for me are over.
No,
running out in the cold. No, but yeah. So like I said, I'll start over. I'll probably around end of November. But between now and then, I'll be working out. I won't be training, but I'll be.
Right.
I work out every day. If I work out 5 days a week. And even when I'm training, I train 5 days a week, and then I rest on the weekends. And then, but now I'm gonna try to, work out every day, but I won't be training. But like I said, come end of November, I'll start training again, but it'll be indoors. Things are a little bit different. Like a lot of weight training will be incorporated, and a lot of core work and stuff. And so I'll lose this in no time at all.
You'll give it all to me.
Yeah, and then so then I'll do that. I'll probably train for 3-4 months indoors. Like I say, incorporating weights and different things. Still doing some speed work on the treadmills, and then as soon as the weather breaks, I'll be out at the tracks doing the speed drills, doing sprint drills, doing all the stuff you do out on the track that you can't do indoors. You got to get out. The only way to get faster or to stay fast is to actually get out and run fast. There are things you can do to prep yourself to get ready to run fast, but if you want to be a sprinter, the only way to get faster is to run fast, and to run fast all the time. So that's basically the plan from now until November, and then from November till April or so, when the weather breaks and the track is open outdoors. Then I'll be training 5 days a week at the track, back off on the weights, and not to completely back off on the weights, but back off on a lot of the weight training, but still do a little bit, and then train all through the summer, try to compete through the summer
Mm-hmm.
in different meets, and then try to peak near the end of the summer for Fort Lauderdale. And I'm pretty confident that that's going to all work out.
Hopefully,
try to stay injury free or whatever.
Hopefully, we can at least some of us will be able to travel down there.
And hopefully there'll be some other
Unfortunately,
meets that we can, that I can go to and you guys can come. But
well, we all try to make the local meets. You gotta support your family.
Yeah, I'll probably run in the Michigan Olympics next year summer. So there's another meet I'll be running in. I'll be running in the Michigan Winter Olympics. That's in February. So
those are all indoors. That's a stupid question, folks.
Yeah, they're all indoors. The Michigan one will be in the summertime. It'll just be in the earlier summer, where the national meets in the late summer. The indoors, the Michigan Winter Olympics are indoors over at Macomb. And
what events will you be competing in there? The same ones you'll be doing in Fort Lauderdale?
I'll probably compete in the 100 and the 100 and the 60 in the Winter Olympics, and then unfortunately when I go to Fort Lauderdale, I'm only going to be running the 60 because I wanted to qualify for the 100 this year, but we didn't have the Rona.
Oh, yeah, we didn't have the.
And I didn't run the 119. I only ran the 60.
Well, qualifying for one on the national stage is better than none. You still get to go represent Michigan as the senior Olympic qualifier for Michigan.
Well, then I was going to go to Wisconsin and run and try.
Yeah, we were supposed to go. I remember you called me. It was like a quick 30-second call. Billy, we're going to Wisconsin. I have to run. Bye. And I didn't know if he was saying he had to run off the phone.
No.
Or.
Yeah, they canceled that too. So anyway.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a bummer because that would have been a nice drive over to Wisconsin to.
Yeah, because I was going to qualify for. I was going to qualify for the 100 there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you would have done.
But let's back up, because facts matter, and we want to be factual. They didn't cancel Wisconsin. I had a little tweak in my. I tweaked my Achilles about 10 days before, and it just was not getting better. And so I decided, and rather than risk hurting it more, I backed out of Wisconsin because of my Achilles.
Mom telling me that when I had asked, you were having trouble walking for a little while, and it was because of the Achilles. Obviously, you made it fine with just your walker coming in.
Yeah. Yeah, I left my walker at the door, so I didn't have to use it coming in here. But yeah, rather than risk, blowing it out or hurting it more.
And I don't mean this to sound, mean, but at your age, an injury to your Achilles or an injury of that nature, that would take forever.
Yeah,
to recover from.
If I blow out my Achilles or hurt my Achilles, I'm probably done. I probably can't recover from that.
Yeah, you did the smart thing and backed off and didn't compete.
It's still a little tender to this day, but I can still work out.
Yeah, but I think with all the plyometrics that you're gonna do, through the winter and the weight training and stuff like that, that'll only strengthen it. So when you do get back outside and get on the blocks and get on the track,
it was a little bit of an overuse. I was doing a lot of speed work.
He doesn't like to rest, folks. He's go.
Yeah, so it just got to the point where it got real. I could walk on it pretty good, but one day I actually woke up. I couldn't walk like your mom said. I couldn't walk. It was real tender, but then after a while it got warmed up and it was able to walk on it. But then when I got out on the track and I tried to sprint on it,
wow.
No, walking and sprinting are two different things, so that didn't work. So I decided to just not do anything and let it heal up. And I went to the doctor for it. She said just rest it, ice it, the same old thing you gotta do. So I did, and it's kind of much better now. It's really doesn't bother me at all right now.
That's good.
So it'll be fine. Not worried about it at all. So gotta stay in shape. Get ready.
So as an old man who is retired, do you have any advice for anyone else that's old that's looking to get active, or how should they? Because obviously you can't jump into compete in the Senior Olympics.
No.
And since you've been active your entire life.
I designed a fitness program for older people. It's called Fitness for You.
Okay.
And basically,
tell us a little bit about that.
So basically, Fitness for You is a program that I developed that it lets you be in control of your fitness program. You don't care what what other athletes do. You don't care what the celebrities do. You don't care what the pro athletes do. Your fitness is for you. You do what you want to do. You do what you like to do. I don't care if you like to push a shopping cart around the parking lot. If that's what you like to do, then that's what you do. And then I give, see, like a lot of people think like fitness is only for like athletes or for the celebrities or, but anybody can be knowledgeable about fitness and know what to do and know the right things to do and know how to control their diet and know how to eat right. And it's not just relegated to the the fitness gurus you see on TV, and those people don't use those. Those people spend hours and hours in the gym to look like that. You're never going to look like that unless that's what you do for a living and you spend 5-6 hours a day in the gym. For an average person, you're never going to look like that. Okay, forget it. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. Yeah, or whatever. But anyway, my point is, fitness is a very individual thing, and then my program is geared toward you. You design your own program. I teach you to be a little more knowledgeable about fitness. I teach you some basics about fitness, and then I give you a mindset that fitness is a mindset. Healthy eating is a mindset. You have to change the way you do things. It's a life change. It's not something you do one day and not the next. It's just a way of living. And my program just teaches you, like I said, some basics about fitness, and then you get to choose what you like to do, how long you want to do it. I give you some basics on all this kind of stuff.
And do you have a website for this or anything that...
I do not have a website, but it's called Fitness for You. And maybe I'll give you you can put my email down, and if anybody wants to email me about Fitness for You, I've got...
I'll be sure to put that in the description when I post the video.
Yeah, I have... I can put my whole program on a thumb drive. I have a little key-shaped thumb drive. It says Fitness for You, your key to fitness. Get it? It's shaped like a key.
You designed this program...
Yeah,
a little bit before you retired, but you were still competing in the Senior Olympics at the time.
Oh yeah.
So you were making this program as you were competing at that high level, but you were making it for the average, no pun intended, Joe.
Yep.
Get it? Joe.
I get it. Yeah.
His name's Joe. I know, lame Joe.
Anyway, yeah, I did. I didn't design it for people to be able to use it and then jump right in to compete at the Senior Olympic level. No, it starts out, just to give you an example, it starts out very basic. It's for people who've never done anything before, showing them how to, get their target heart rate and going out maybe for 15 minutes to start, and then working their way up, take you through each stage. And, if you only want to do 15 minutes a day, then that's what you do. If you only want to do a half hour a day or work up to a half hour a day or an hour a day, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. Fitness for you. Your fitness is an individual thing for you. You're not gonna start on day one of a fitness program and do P90X if you've never exercised a day in your life.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not railing on P90X, but P90X is not meant for someone who's never exercised before. It's meant for someone who's already in shape and wants to get in better shape. That's not my program. Okay. My program takes you from having been doing nothing to being able to sustain a program and an eating habit for the rest of your life, basically.
And this approach has helped you in your training, too.
Oh, yeah.
And it's basically what Fitness for You is based off of. It's your approach to...
Yeah, it's my approach to fitness, but like I said at the beginning, my workouts and my training is very, very specific. Mm-hmm. Just like any other sprinter's training program is it's very sport specific. I'm trained specifically to do two things: to get from point A to point B in the 60 meters, and get to point A to point B in the 100 meters faster than the next guy. That's all I do. That's what I train to do. Now, that's not what the average person is going to want to do. They don't
Right.
probably care how fast they can get from point A to point B, and they don't need to. And they might not like to do that kind of stuff. They may not like it. Maybe they want to ride a bike. Maybe they want to dance. Maybe they want to surf. Maybe they want to push a shopping cart through the parking lot. Who knows? Maybe they want to roller skate. Maybe they want to cut their grass every day. Well, who knows what they want to do?
Whatever
it's
gets
all
somebody up and moving, right?
exactly. It's all about what's best for them. Who cares what Jane Fonda does or what any of those fitness gurus do? You're not them, and you're not going to get the same results as them. Because on every one of those fitness programs, they say results may vary. My fitness program, I don't say your results will vary. Your results will be your results. You will get the results of what you put into it. So your results will not vary because your results are your results and they don't vary from anything. But on all these other fitness programs, yeah, your results will vary because whatever. I don't make that disclaimer in my program.
That's a good approach to working out. Whatever works for you, it gets you up and moving, get in that mindset, and just push yourself to do that.
Right, and I've had this program for a while. I just, takes money to market things or to get the word out.
But
whatever.
We are in the digital age.
Yes,
the
we
age
are.
Of the social medias.
Yeah, and
word of mouth and things like that. I put your contact information. With questions for fitness for you, I'll be sure to plug all that stuff with your permission.
Yeah, and I think even in the program that you would get there, I think my email's in there. If you have any questions or anything, you could ask me. And I'm not. I was at one time certified fitness instructor, but I'm not anymore. I haven't renewed my certification, but I've been doing this.
What the hell are you doing? You're retired. You got all the time in the world.
Yeah, I know. I've been doing this for a long, long time, so I know pretty much all the ins and outs of it. I know all the hot supplements that they say to take, and that's another thing. We could talk about that if you want to talk about some supplements. I don't take supplements, except for how many do I take? I take vitamin D. And I take vitamin D, and I take a pre and a probiotic with vitamin B. That's all in one capsule. So that's 2. And then I have papaya enzymes that I take whenever I need them because it aids in digestion. And those are the only 3 I take because those
chewable Flintstone vitamins.
Yeah, because those 3 actually I can prove that they work. Papaya enzyme works every time I take it. I know the pre and the probiotics work, and vitamin B is good for your immune system and things like that. So I know that works because I just know that my digestion is good and my
He's regular, folks.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm regular. And then what was the other? Oh, the vitamin D. The vitamin D I know works because every time I get my blood work done, my vitamin D levels are right where they're supposed to be. And pretty much if you don't take vitamin D and you live in Michigan, you're going to have low vitamin D. So you need, probably everybody in Michigan should be supplementing your vitamin D. So I know that those 3 supplements work, but that's just for me. They may not work for you. That's why I don't recommend anything. I recommend them for me. I don't recommend them for you. I just put it all out there in my program because that's what I take. And I don't recommend them to anybody. I don't recommend any brand names. I don't recommend any of that stuff. What I do is teach you enough to know where to go to look for all this stuff, get some knowledge. And, you got the internet, you got the interweb. You can look all
has everything.
You can look it all up. Everybody knows that. Even the older people know, to go on there. They can look it all up. My only recommendation is don't take something because somebody recommended it to you. Do your own research, and find out all this stuff for yourself.
That's the best thing you can do. You take advice, but it's always good to do your own research.
So that's what I do. That's what I take. I do take when I'm training, when I'm doing when I do a lot of weights and I do a lot of speed work out at the track. I do take a creatine supplement, but not everybody wants to take a creatine supplement, but I find that it helps me get through a workout. You just seem to have a little more seem to have a little more drive and a little more energy when I take that stuff. I mean, might not work for everybody, but I don't even know the brand I take. I just take a creatine supplement. I'm not taking it now. Probably won't. I won't start taking that again until November.
Until you start training a little bit more.
Right. Right now I'm just working out probably an hour a day.
Just kind of maintaining until you start pushing a little.
Yeah, like yesterday, I didn't work out today because I knew I was coming here. I'd be at the gym right now if I wasn't doing this, but
I was supposed to run today too, but.
So yesterday I worked out. What did I do yesterday? I spent like 30. I think I spent like 35 minutes on the bike, and then I spent the rest of the time. I did a couple sprints on the treadmill, and then I spent the rest of the time. I did some light leg work. I just did like one set of 2 different exercises, and then I did some stretching. I did some core work, some really light core work, and that was it. And that took an hour, and they don't have the damn showers on at the gyms. None of the gyms have showers now. It's retarded.
Home, stinky.
No, I took a shower.
My fancy couch in the studio.
I took a Polish shower, man. I washed up in the sink at the gym.
I had to do that when we went camping because the showers weren't working.
It kind of sucks.
Summer.
So I usually take a 30 to 40 minute long shower at the gym.
Nice for the water.
As hot as I can stand it to keep. And man, that really loosens all my muscles up, and it's really I miss that, man. Hell, and another thing, if you're working out a lot and you're not necessarily training for an event, but you work out a lot and you do it regularly, you should get a massage. You should get a full body massage every once a month or so. Yeah, it's great. What is with this?
I don't like them.
Did you have a girl do it?
Yes.
I was gonna say.
I know the benefits of them. I just don't.
Because a lot of the guys that do it, their hands are too strong, and sometimes it hurts.
Yeah, it's just the oils, and it's like, ugh.
No.
But I know they're good for you, and it is good advice. I could probably use a massage with all the running I do because this.
Yeah, it's really good. Really good for you, even if you're just doing normal exercise to stay healthy, and you're just doing to maintain your health. And there's a big difference between exercising for health or exercising for a sport or an event that you're going to be doing. Like most people would be exercising just to maintain their health because it's good for you to do it. It's good. Exercise is good for you. I mean, it's been proven in like 8 million studies that exercise is good for you. So, but even then, you should get a massage. Try to get a massage regularly once a month.
Fine, I'll think about it, but I'm not making any promises.
Well, you couldn't really. I haven't had one in months because of the Rona.
Oh, that's right.
So now I think now you're allowed to have them now. So I can probably make an appointment to get mine. But yeah, I haven't had one since March.
March, yeah, it would have been March 13th. It was Friday.
And she just opened up the gyms. 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was pretty recent.
So, yeah, so that's, I miss my massages too. I miss my long showers. I miss my massages.
Oh. You just missed the whole routine that you had established.
Yeah, I definitely had a definite routine, man.
When you work out and you train. And
when I'm training, it's all routine.
But the slightest thing can throw it all off and make you not feel accomplished or make it not like you got your full workout. Because even loosening up those muscles, just stretching afterwards, and
especially going to the track every day. It was almost the same time every day. And this past summer, you talk about Michigan weather, man. We had the greatest summer of ever in Michigan.
We had a really good summer,
man. Every day was 80 degrees and sunny. 80 degrees and sunny. I didn't miss one workout at the track because of rain. Well, it rained one day. I had started my workout, and then it got clouded down, and it rained a little bit, and then it cleared up, and then I continued. But that was the only day out of all those days in the summer. And I work out every single day, 5 days a week at the track. I don't miss a day of speed work on the track or sprint drills on the track. 5 days a week, and it was 5 days of beautiful weather this year in Michigan. It was great.
Yeah, we had a real good summer. Now it's coming to an end, and it's dark outside, and it's only 7:30.
Yeah. It's only 7:30. It's dark, and I'm wearing sunglasses. Blues Brothers.
I don't have anything to ask. You answered everything and gave us some good information. Did you have anything else? Any other advice you want to give to anybody who's looking to work out or anyone in your age group?
No, I just want to say kind of, age is a relative thing. Don't worry about age. We'll say, though, if you're older and if you just want to start an exercise program, yeah, you really do need, they always say it, but it is true. You need to check with your doctor first or go to a doctor. Make sure that you're physically able to start a fitness program, and then once you get the okay, then you can do it. Don't just jump into it. If you've been doing it all along for many, many years, you're cool. But if you've been off for a long time and haven't exercised, don't just jump right back into it if you're older. You gotta, that would even go for younger people too, but not so much having to go to the doctor, but older people really need to take that into consideration. Us seniors, I wouldn't recommend just jumping into a program without getting checked out first. It always, makes good sense to do that.
Well, there you have it, folks. From an engineer to a retired person to a senior Olympian, published author, you heard it here first in the Soup Can. Thank you for coming on and answering the question Soup No O with Joe.
That's right.
If you look right there, you can wave to the camera and say, okay, later, see ya, bye.
Bye.
Again, thank you, Joe. Dad.
Anytime. I'll be more than happy to come back.
Hopefully I can have you on here again. And it was a pleasure talking with you. And I learned some stuff about my dad I didn't know. Until next time, Soup No O with you.
Later.
By Sprinkled Confections. If you have a wedding, a birthday, a retirement party coming up, or are you just looking for a delicious, sweet treat? Well, look no further than Sprinkled Confections to handle all your cake and cupcake needs. Contact Catherine Williams on Facebook at cats.sprinkled.confections, on Instagram at sprinkled.confections, Sprinkled Confections, delivering delicious